This was one of the coolest moments the Kuroko no Basuke anime gave us, the Meteor Jam. And yes, I'm fully aware that the move is illegal. However, what Kagami had to go through to get to this point is actually quite interesting. One of the reasons I love the Kuroko no Basuke anime. So let's get into what happened. So during the summer training, Kagami was made aware that his greatest strength are his jumps, but he was told it's a lot deeper than that. He was made aware that while he can jump off either leg individually, his strongest jumps occur with his right leg. As such, Kagami gets this idea that his best chance of beating the Generation of Miracles is in an aerial battle, essentially jump to a point where they can't reach him. However, this was only half the issue, and he was made aware of this by Midorima. Midorima had a one-on-one game with him. The rules were if Kagami could make one dunk against Midorima, he won. It was best out of 10. And Kagami failed all 10 times. Midorima was able to stop him, but it was how he was stopping him that was the issue. Midorima was forcing Kagami to jump off his right leg. You may think this is weird, right? If his right leg is his strong leg, why was Midorima forcing him? And for better yet, how was he able to stop him every single time? The reason was actually simple. Midorima made Kagami aware of one thing. Yes, he can jump high, but jumping high doesn't mean anything if your opponent knows what you're going to do. Midorima kept forcing Kagami to jump off his right leg because of the one trade-off it comes with. He will use his left hand to dunk. Kagami will jump, if he jumps off his right leg, he will use his left hand. If he jumps off his left leg, he uses his right hand. Because Midorima knows which hand Kagami is going to use, he knows that Kagami is very limited with his left hand. Essentially, there isn't much he can do. And we're all like this with our non-dominant side. As such, it's just a case of timing and predicting him. And this is what Midorima was able to do. It's how he was able to stop him every time. This point was actually brought to light even earlier in the anime. And this is actually a very common thing done in sports, to limit your opponent's options by forcing them onto their weaker side. But it can also be used against them. Like Muhammad Ali back in the day used to drop his hands because he knew most of his opponents would aim for his head. So here we're looking at trying to gain better strength and dexterity with our non-dominant side. It could be your left hand, it could be your right hand. To achieve this, we're going to use two types of training. We're going to use active training, we're going to use passive training. Active training is a sort of training where you're at the gym, you're actively training, or passive training, you can do it anywhere really. You don't need to be at a gym, you can actually do it sitting down, like breathing exercises. So let's get into it. We're going to start first with active training. You're going to start with a light dumbbell. Yes, I know this dumbbell that I am using is very light, but I'm taking this from the presumption that you are someone who rarely uses your left hand or your non-dominant side. So it could be your left side, it could be your right side. So yeah, we're going to do rotationals like this. This is really going to work the shoulders. Once again, we're starting this from scratch. I'm presuming you don't use your non-dominant side at the very least. So yeah, we're going to start with these. Even if you don't have dumbbells, you can also use resistance bands. Like here, it may look like I'm pulling with both sides, but I'm actually only pulling with my left. Once again, this is mainly a shoulder workout. So yeah, these hurt, especially if you don't use your non-dominant side a lot. If you don't have anything like resistance bands, or even like you don't even have dumbbells, you can use a backpack as I demonstrate here. We're using isometrics. That basically means we're training each side individually. So you find like this, then you train your right side just to make sure they're perfectly balanced. Once again, back to the resistance bands you can use for like curls. And once again, if you don't usually use your non-dominant side, go light, then slowly build yourself upward. And if you don't have a pair of resistance bands, you can use a backpack here. Just put books in the bag and you're good. So the whole point here was we're trying to build strength within our non-dominant side. In my case, it's my left side. Trying to build strength slowly but surely. And yeah, just like you saw me doing rows with the backpack, you can also do rows with the resistance band. Yeah. Another exercise you can do is this one with a tennis ball, where you bounce it with your left hand. Now, I know someone would be like, why not use a basketball? It's a bit tricky with the tennis ball because a basketball is a large object, whereas a tennis ball is much smaller, and you have to use just a bit more energy to just bounce it off. And it's a good way just to get that practice in with your left hand, like getting it used to like bouncing something off bouncing the ball, especially like if you don't use your left hand at all. Again, if you don't use your non-dominant side at all, trust me, depending on how little you use it, this is a very good one. So yeah, you just bounce it off the ground like this, bit by bit, little by little, developing control. Another good drill you can do is to catch the same tennis ball. Let's say you bounce it off a wall and catch it with your non-dominant side. Again, in my case, it's my left hand. So I'm bouncing it off the wall, catching with my left hand. This is going to help like with the reflexes, the reaction, because we're trying to get the hand to be able to catch anything. We're trying to make sure that we can use our hand. Our left hand is as responsive as our right. As you can see, I failed to catch it there. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Don't worry. This will be irritating. Trust me. It will be irritating, especially when you first start out, because depending on how little you use your non-dominant side, your ability to react with it is very, very limited. So yeah, these are just a couple of active drills that you can do. Next, we're going to go into passive training. Now, passive training, once again, you can do this sitting down. You don't need to be in a gym, whether you're at an office, whether you're at school. You can do these anywhere. So you can just do these things sitting down, like texting with your left hand. Again, you don't need a gym to do this. Just text with your left hand, and I mean solely with your left hand. If your right hand is your weak side, text. Yeah, and this may seem weird, but the reason you're doing this is because you're trying to not just gain strength in your non-dominant side. You're trying to gain control. The same way that you can move every finger on your dominant side individually. Like if you were to put, let's say in my case, I'm right-handed. If I was to put my right hand flat on the ground, I can move each finger individually. But if I did that with my left, it would be a struggle. So here you're just trying to gain a level of control. Plus, I'm pretty sure we all remember that scene in the anime where Kagami was eating, I believe it was a bowl of ramen with his left hand, and he was using chopsticks. So same concept here. This again, just text, and hopefully it's not like, unless it's like really, really important. But yeah, when you can, just sit down, write something, use your left hand, just practice like this. And yeah, my phone has a bit of a big screen, hence you see me making large movements with my hand. But yeah, I actually do this every once in a while. That's why it's not so hard for me. So but yeah, it took a while to get to this point. So yeah, and since I brought up the writing part, you can actually write with your non-dominant side. Yeah, this one is gonna suck, trust me. You are gonna get irritated with this one. Writing with your non-dominant hand is a bit of a struggle because you are fully aware that it's a struggle. You'll become aware of how big you make your O's, how you curl every letter, every mark. Trust me, it's annoying, but yeah, it's a great practice. Again, you're trying to gain control over your non-dominant side. Control from your shoulders to the tip of your fingers, because the meteor jam was Kagami throwing the basketball with full force with his left side. If you've ever thrown anything with your dominant side, you have to have that same level of control with your non-dominant side. So yeah, you just practice, write something like this. Doesn't have to be a long sentence. And yeah, my handwriting sucks with my left hand, don't judge me. But yeah, this was me doing my best. The other thing you can do is get a grip trainer. Now, I know this may be a bit of cheating since I said you can do this anywhere, but again, you can do this anywhere. Like, you don't need to be in a gym to use this thing. You can put this in your backpack and you're just there by your office for like 5 minutes. Just grip like this. This is just to train, like I use this primarily like for the muscles in my fingers, just like kind of train them, and also like my grip on my non-dominant side, because again, if let's say you're trying to hold the basketball, you're gonna have to be able to hold it as firmly as you can. So yeah, this is a good way to go about it. And yeah, you can also just hold objects in your hand, like your pen, paper, even a ball really. But yeah, you're just gonna want to do simple things, and it's not just limited to the things I've shown you. You can do other things. You can eat food with your left hand, you can brush your teeth with your left hand, you can type a couple of things on your computer, you can carry bags, just like that, bit by bit, little by little. Anyway guys, those are just some of my pointers on how you can use your non-dominant side so that you can be as dexterous and versatile as Kagami Taiga. I hope you appreciate this video guys. Once again, please do not forget to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification. I hope you appreciate this video. I'm N64, thank you for watching, peace.